Good morning. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or watching from the library or your home, it's wonderful to be together. My name is Katie O'Keefe, and I'm one of your worship associates. Today, our minister, Reverend Sasha Ostrom, is away, and I'm thrilled to be at the pulpit with you this morning. As we prepare for worship, I share these words by Jeffrey A. Lockwood to help center our hearts and minds. The most important thing I've learned in traveling to more than 20 countries is the art of being a guest, and I'm a particularly fine visitor at the supper table. I've consumed live fish in Inner Mongolia, not quite coagulated blood sausage on the Tibetan plateau, shredded pig's ear in China, grilled lamb fat in Uzbekistan, horse steaks in Kazakhstan, vodka made from fermented mare's milk in Siberia, Vegemite in Australia, goat in Brazil, snails in France. I don't have an iron stomach by any means, but I do have the will to be a virtuous visitor. We are all visitors, even when we are home. Our time in any relationship or place is ultimately limited. We are passing through, nobody stays forever. How might we act if we consider ourselves guests in the lives of our friends and family? Being a good guest is rather simple in principle, but occasionally challenging in practice. One begins by demanding nothing more than the bare elements of life and dignity, which every host is more than delighted to exceed. The good guest then simply allows the other person to be a good host, to share his gifts, to play her music, to tell his stories, to show her places, and to serve his foods. Finally, a guest should cultivate and express genuine gratitude. It need not be effusive or exorbitant, only sincere. We might think of ourselves as uninvited, but not unwelcome, guests of the planet. And I think the rules for being a good guest of the world are just the same. Ask little, accept what is offered, and give thanks. Come, my friends, let's worship together.
And I, too, welcome you to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, a vibrant liberal religious home for all ages. Welcome to our shared journey of the Spirit. I am Kathy Cacavalli, your other worship associate today. Here at the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, we believe in supporting each person's individual spiritual journey while working together to build a loving, just, and sustainable beloved community among us and in the wider world. Whoever you are, and whatever spiritual journey led you here today, you are welcome here. I especially want to take a moment to welcome any newcomers and returning members who are here with us today. We are indeed glad to have you with us. If this is your first visit, I invite you to fill out a visitor card after the service to help us get to know you and to help you get connected with our community. I assume you all passed by the welcome table on your way into this room. I believe that's where you can get the visitor card. You can also talk to today's welcome ambassador, Marjorie Wormser, who would love to meet you. She stood up and waved her hand if you missed that, and she'd love to answer any questions you might have. We are a community of diverse ages and needs, but we all worship together. There are many different ways that you can join us on Sunday mornings, and we invite your family to choose the option that works best for you. Everyone is, of course, welcome to worship with us right here in our sanctuary, but that's not the only space where you can enjoy the service. You can also join us through our live stream from the comfort of your own home, or you can watch the service from our library, which has a large television. It's especially comfortable space to enjoy the service if you or your loved one need a space where you can stretch your legs or have a quiet conversation during the service. However, please keep the library a food-free space for the safety of those among us with food allergies. We are a vibrant and active community with many opportunities for you to get involved. You can learn about some of these activities on the back of your order of service or in our weekly e-newsletter, which is also available on our website. This morning, I would like to highlight just a couple of things. Today, from noon to 6 p.m., we will have a booth at the Morristown Festival on the Green, and of course, it will stop raining before noon. Please join us in greeting members of the community. Tomorrow is your last chance to learn all about our solar project, which will go up on the roof of our new addition. We'll meet on Zoom at 7 p.m. If you missed last week's presentation, this is your final opportunity to come ask all of your questions. We hope to see you there. What? Yeah, tomorrow is your last chance. How's your short-term memory? Next Sunday, October 6th, is our Invite a Friend Sunday. Please bring a friend whom you think might be a UU and not even know it. Again, you can learn more about these activities and many more in our weekly e-newsletter, on our website at muff.org, or on the back of your order of service. Finally, please join us for our coffee hour after the service in our dining room, if you're here in person. It's to the right as you exit the meeting room. Now it's time for us to light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. Alice, would you please come up to light our chalice flame? The words are on your screen. Please rise as you're able for our chalice lighting. Let's say them together. It's okay. It's okay to have more than one. Anyway, love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now please remain standing for our opening hymn, number 346 in your gray hymnal. Come sing a song with me.
I'm going to sit on the stairs. I want to call any kids forward. We got a box that we got to open up. You guys like presents? We'll see what's in it. My friend Katie here is going to help us, so you guys can sit, around there. All right. Very good. No, sit right there on the chair. I know you're 10 now and you're too cool for us. All right.
All right. So today I've brought something in the Wonder Box related to the theme of the service today. And I thought that maybe we could shake the box and listen to it and guess what's inside. Does that sound good? Yes. Do I have a volunteer as to who will shake the box? You look eager to go. Ready? Give it a shake. What do you think that might be inside?
It's definitely not Jingle Bells.
It's definitely not Jingle Bells. I think that's a good guess. What about you? Do you want to give it a shake? Any big ideas?
A Lego.
A Lego. That could be a good guess. All right. Do we want to open up the box and see what's inside? All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do you guys know what this might be?
A birthday invitation.
An invitation. Yeah. So have you guys ever received an invitation before?
No.
Yeah.
Except to my cousin's birthday party, which is today. She's just a young one.
That's exciting. And how did it make you guys feel to receive an invitation? Happy? Why did it make you feel happy? Because you could be with your friends. I think that's a great reason to feel happy.
We just had a birthday.
You just had a birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, so when we receive an invitation, we feel happy because we get to be included and we get to be with our friends and family. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, is why it's so important to invite people in and become friends with people. So I wrote out invitations for next week's service, which is our Invite a Friend service. And I hope everyone will invite a friend next week and get to share in the joy that is an invitation. All right,
cool.
Sound good?
Yeah? All right, let's
All
sit back
right,
down.
thanks
Sit
for
back
coming
down.
up, guys.
Cool. All right. Let's go sit back down. Okay.
All right. Now it's time for our milestones and passages. Sometimes we come to this sacred place with much on our hearts. Perhaps you welcomed a new baby, lost a loved one, got a new job, or have a health concern. Whatever your joy, sorrow, or concern, you can share it in our service by filling out our milestones and passages form before 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, which can be found in the weekly e-newsletter or by visiting muuf.org/passages. You can also fill out one of our milestones and passages cards before the service. This morning, we have a few to share. Please respond after each by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." This morning, we hold in our hearts all who have been impacted by Hurricane Helene, including those who are still waiting to hear back from beloved ones. May you and yours be safe and well in the wake of this devastating storm. We hold you in our hearts. This morning, we take a moment to acknowledge the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, which starts on October 2nd. This is a time of introspection and repentance, as well as reflection, renewal, and hope. For our Jewish neighbors, as well as those among us in the congregation who observe Rosh Hashanah, we extend our heartfelt wishes for a sweet New Year. We hold you in our hearts. From Carrie Davis, this Tuesday, October 1st, Tim and I will be celebrating our 24th wedding anniversary. She says, "Can you even believe it? We're not old enough for that. Also, surprise, honey, I love you." We hold you in our hearts. Right. Now let's take a quiet moment for the prayers and meditations of our own hearts with this reading, Love, 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 from Kate Bowler's book, Have a Beautiful, Terrible Day. Lord, the shadowed world is full of troubles, so give me the good, inconvenient work of love. Link my life to others so that their worries become my own. Give me errands I don't want, which ease the burdens of others. Divert me from the plans I've made to zip from A to B when you have better ideas. Put my hands to work with a less grumbling heart and let their dreams drift into my own. You've given me tools to use and ideas to fashion that will bring me neither recognition, nor money, nor praise. You've made love such a sneaky thing. The more we love as you do, the less we are keeping track of it all. Let's now take a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be. And now, please remain seated as we sing number 121 in your gray hymnal, We'll Build a Land.
Build a land where we build up the
Our reading today is Show Up Hungry by Kayla Parker. I got off work at 7 p.m. and I did that thing where you chase the bus a little bit, but then realize you won't make it and walk sheepishly back to the bus stop. I'm already an hour late to Sunday night singing at the Lucy Stone Cooperative, a UU affordable housing co-op in Boston. I'm still ambivalent. I could go home to Netflix and grilled cheese. I could choose predictability and warm carbs. Or I could get on the bus to this community where I was first a member of the planning team and now a board member. This place where, despite my leadership role, I still find myself questioning whether and how I belong. I give myself a little pep talk, reminding myself that I'm allowed to show up late and hungry and in need of a song, reminding myself that being in community means offering care and being cared for, bringing my shiny self and my not-so-shiny self. When I arrive, there's a teapot of hot water and a plate of fat dates on the table. A friend presses a bowl into my hands, and there's broccoli soup. We sing Amazing Grace, the wonders of accepting love have made me whole and real. Community is covenant. It's the promise of a bowl of soup and a song at the end of the day. It's love in the form of the house on Moreland Street that has said that it doesn't matter that I don't live there, that I too am welcome on Sunday nights. Laid bare, it is the succor and accountability of doing that thing together that we cannot do alone. I've not always been my best self in the communities I've loved. I've shirked dish duty at Lucy Stone and missed weddings in my hometown. I've dropped out when I was needed and showed up full of pettiness and exhaustion. The wonder of accepting love is only made evident when we're allowed to shed the shiny and let the sourness show. Our communities of spirit are only real because we show up late expecting to be fed, because we both give and get, because we bring our tart and our sweet, our gifts and our struggles. We need lemon in the lentils, rice vinegar in the sushi, a squeeze of lime in the chalada, and some acid in our communities. Without it, our communities are superficial. With no acid, we are one note, monotone. Our vulnerabilities, our bits of brokenness, bring life to our relationships. We are part of community when we show up shiny and not so shiny, when we bring our sour and our sweet, when we shed the shiny and show up hungry. And now, we come to the time in our service each Sunday when we pause to offer our gifts of financial support to this congregation. Your donation, large or small, makes a big difference, making possible all that we do here together. It also helps make our world a better place. That's because each Sunday we give at least half of the money we collect to an organization that is doing good work in the world to advance our Unitarian, Universalist values of love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Now today, we are offering a special collection to the UUA Disaster Relief Fund in response to Hurricane Helene. 100% of your donations today will go to aid UU congregations and recognized UU nonprofit entities in the wake of this devastating storm. Our originally scheduled collection for Norwescap will be moved to next week. You may give in our collection basket or by following the instructions printed in your order of service and shown on the screen. Thank you in advance for your generosity, especially considering our special offering today. Will the ushers please come forward to receive our gifts? And I would like to mention that our offertory music today is Autumn Leaves with music by Joseph Cosma, arrangement by Dave Magiel, and our own Michael Rosen.
Fabulous. So, what if I told you that there was a cure to a serious affliction? An affliction so dire that it's associated with a greater risk of cardiovascular disease, dementia, stroke, depression, anxiety, and even premature death. It impacts mortality so strongly that health professionals compare it to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. A cure would be pretty exciting, right? What if I then told you for this cure, no one needs a referral, there's no crazy hoops to jump through with your insurance, and there's not even a copay? You might say, that sounds great. Or the skeptics among us might say it sounds way too good to be true. Can you guess what the affliction is? You guys are ahead of the curve. It's loneliness, and it so strongly impacts people that 1 in 2 adults in America report experiencing it. When I first learned this, I was saddened, but I honestly wasn't that surprised. In the years since the pandemic, it's been too easy to draw the blinds, turn on Netflix, and hide away from the world. I mean, can you really blame people? Our favorite places to come together shuttered overnight, family gatherings suddenly became dangerous, and even as restrictions lightened up, fears remained. Fears of contracting the virus quickly teamed up with our fears of rejoining a world that changed too fast and looked very different. But it's not all bad news. Remember that cure that I mentioned? It's community, it's connection. And in the same way that loneliness can damage our health, strong social connections can make us healthier. They can help us better manage our stress, help us sleep at night, and live longer lives. And it all starts with making an invitation. As I prepared for today's service, I read a poem by Naomi Shihab Nye. It begins, "The Arabs used to say, when a stranger appears at your door, feed him for 3 days before asking who he is, where he's come from, where he's headed. That way, he'll have strength enough to answer, or by then, you'll be such good friends that you don't care. I've thought about the different ways I've seen this idea embodied. My parents, always willing to welcome in a distant friend of a friend of a friend who didn't have a place to go for Christmas or Easter. My first friend in kindergarten, Ankita, whose mother hosted a dress-up birthday party and invited all the girls in our class to try on saris and bindis, explaining each piece as she went, the sound of Bollywood music filling the air. My high school English teacher, who welcomed a mishmash group of teenagers in her classroom each lunch period, offering cups of tea and a quiet escape from the dramas of college applications and packed senior year schedules. Brooke and Joe and Carrie and all the folks who made sure I had a friend to sit with in the first weeks and months of coming to this fellowship, seeking a spiritual community. I've been so blessed to have experienced many an invitation in, but today I wanted to share a story about a family that really went above and beyond to welcome me in. I met my best friend Melissa in the first few days of my freshman year of high school. Coming from a much smaller middle school into Morristown High, I didn't know a single person in my biology class. That is, until I looked at the shoes of the girl who sat in front of me. Colorful Converse, covered in doodles of the same nerdy stuff that I liked. We struck up a conversation, and we were fast friends. We dissected frogs and made Punnett squares together in that biology class and sat together for lunch every day. I grew up Catholic, and Melissa is a Reformed Jew. Before I met Melissa, my limited understanding of the Jewish faith came almost exclusively from the Rugrats Passover special. And when our geometry teacher came in with ashes on his forehead for Ash Wednesday, Melissa kindly informed him that he had a bit of schmutz on his forehead. We had a lot to learn about each other. So in the weeks and months that followed, Melissa's family invited me to join them in nearly every Jewish holiday to learn about their traditions. I sat at the table and drank Manischewitz at their Passover Seder, and on Hanukkah, played dreidel on their living room floor and listened to Melissa read one of her favorite picture books from her childhood, Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins. Melissa always had an invitation to the annual O'Keefe family Christmas Eve party, where she's often spotted wearing her latest ugly Hanukkah sweater, and Easter brunch too. When her grandparents passed, I visited as her family sat Shiva. When my pop-up passed, she came to the Mass and the repast after. Even now, when jobs and busy adult lives have made it harder to always celebrate together, I know that both her and her family are a message away when I might need them. When I told Melissa I was leading this service today, she immediately offered up the assistance of her sibling Eden, the rabbinical student. When my grandmother passed away earlier this year, her parents were at the door of my apartment, hugs and food in tow. What if we were also welcoming, not just extending an invitation, but truly welcoming people into our lives, into our annual traditions, into our moments of joy, and into our moments of grief? It's something to think about as Rosh Hashanah approaches. Could we make a resolution to be the person who reaches out, who is radically inclusive, and who embodies hospitality? Look, there are a lot of reasons we might hesitate to pull up a chair at the table. We might feel awkward or anxious, worrying about how to extend an invitation without seeming too forward or too pushy. We might feel afraid because of the times we've been rejected in the past. Add religion into the mix, and there's even more reasons we might worry to invite someone to join us on Sunday morning. Fears around proselytizing, cultural sensitivity, and maybe even our own insecurities about our faith. Our brains can immediately jump to, oh God, what's the worst thing that could happen? It can feel like a trust fall where you're bracing to hit the concrete before you tip over. I'm the first to admit that going out on a limb is scary, and that I'm not always brave enough to do it. But as we look toward our Invite a Friend service coming up next Sunday, I found myself asking a different question. What's the best thing that could happen? Sure, we could be rejected, or we could be exactly what someone needed. We could be the bridge that helps someone through a challenging time. We could forge deeper, more trusting relationships with the people around us. We could provide a platform for friends to join us in meaningful social justice work. We could be the reason somebody makes a beloved, lifelong friend. It's worth moving through the fear to find the possibilities on the other side. So I want to go back to Morristown High School for a moment to talk about something that happened in May 1974. Some of the lifelong Morristown residents in the audience today might be able to guess where I'm going here and may even have their own memories of the events that unfolded. 50 years ago, on a bright spring day, racial tensions between black and white students at Morristown High boiled over, sparking violence. According to the Star-Ledger at the time, police from dozens of local municipalities were called to the school to separate several hundred white and black students after a series of racial fights. The school was closed for a week as law enforcement and school administrators figured out how to resume class and prevent further violence. This conflict came just 2 years after the integration of Morristown High School following a landmark court case that called for the merger of Morristown and Morris Township schools. And this could have been the moment where people threw up their hands and said, "This is too hard, we should go back to the way things were." And let's be clear, I'm sure there were people who did. Frankly, there were a lot of people who probably did, and who probably said it with much harsher, more unkind words. But there were enough people who believed that all kids should get an equitable education. Enough people who believed that diversity is our strength, and that there's something to learn from all of our neighbors, even when, no, especially when, they look different, pray different, and celebrate differently than us. There are a lot of people right now who will try to tell you that progress is too hard and too messy, that it's just too hard to understand our neighbors or to even try. Here's what I'd say to those people. I don't believe you. Because decades after race riots at Morristown High, I attended. And I was lucky enough to have classmates and friends with traditions and beliefs that were totally different than my own. I remember that one night when I had a big group of friends over to listen to Broadway show tunes in lieu of attending the homecoming dance, my parents joked that it looked like a gathering of the United Nations was happening in the basement. And look, I don't want to paint things in an overly rosy hue, right? There are still challenges and discrimination to overcome. But for a school to go from having race riots in the 1970s to being the subject of a New York Times article titled, "As Other Districts Grapple with Segregation, This One Makes Integration Work," and being called a model of diversity and togetherness by the Century Foundation, change is possible. And it begins by opening your door, pulling up a seat at the table, and finding common ground. It's enshrined in our values as Unitarian Universalists, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person, treating people with equity and compassion, and working toward the goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. There will always be people who don't understand and who don't care to understand, but it's our job as Unitarian Universalists to be the people who do understand, or at the very least, be the people who make the effort to try. So, where do we go from here? I don't have all the answers to solving the loneliness epidemic or promoting equity, but I have a few ideas. In a recent session, I was brainstorming with my therapist about something called protective factors. These are things that can help us feel good, positively contribute to our mental health, and better deal with stressful situations. I came up with a really long list, and I actually painted them on a canvas that's hanging in my bathroom, so I look at it every day. But I wanted to just end with a few of them. 1, call a friend. When things go wrong, it can be easy to feel like we're the only ones who have been through something, and that we have to fix it all by ourselves. Talking to a friend can help us solve our problems and know that we're not alone in having them. One of my closest friends, Sarah, will call me at least once a week during her commute home from the office, and I can't tell you how many times that I've felt so relieved that we're having pretty much the exact same problem, even if I wish we weren't having the problem in the first place. 2, be present now. Really see the people and places around you in your day-to-day comings and goings. Strike up a conversation with the person in line with you at the grocery store, compliment a stranger, and notice the opportunities to help. 3, participate in the world. I recently heard someone say, good things happen when you leave the house. When you change your environment, you learn new things, have new experiences, and gain a new perspective. 4, build community. Don't be afraid to make that invite, even if it's scary or awkward. I'd say 9 times out of 10, people are happy to receive them. 5, say thank you. Gratitude is a powerful way to connect with the people around you. Say it often, say it freely, and really mean it when you say it. And 6, tell someone you love them. When you're lucky enough to have people you love, tell them as often as you can. We could all stand to hear it more. I think if we can make an effort to do these things a little more, we'd be well on our way to making the world a more connected place. And now I'd like to invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn. It's number 188 in your gray hymnal, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Good morning, everyone. We will sing this as a round. It is written as a round in the book, as we've done in the past. The usual, which I love, works well, and I've gotten a lot of comments of praise about it because you can hear sort of the counterpoint around you randomly. It's not assigned by section, but we're assigning in a random way. If your birthday is between January and March, you will sing the first line first, and then April to June, first line second, July to September, first line third, and then October to December, the first line last. So I'll sing each entrance, and then we're just going to keep doing it. And the one thing I'd like to do is after a few times, when you get to that last line, we'll sing that a few times. Keep repeating that last line, and I'll make it clear when we get there when we're playing. I'll give the note, but for now, we're just going to start with voices. I'll play the whole thing through, actually, first one, so hold on. January to March. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. And last, come, come, whoever you are. Come
be seated. It is now time to bring our time of worship to a close, but as we extinguish this chalice flame, its light will continue to burn in our hearts. Go in peace is a common ending sentiment I heard going to Mass growing up, and I think it's what I'd like to leave you with today as we go out into our daily lives. Go in peace, go in love, and share that love with those around you. Any risk we take in inviting people into our hearts will be paid back in dividends in the love we receive. Thank you, blessed be, amen. And I'd like for you to enjoy our jazz trio for one more number. They will be performing Sia Hamba.